What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Tide Talk. It's Wednesday, March 26th, and we're back in the away end to preview RIFC's upcoming match versus Loudoun United. Just a reminder, each episode is available on YouTube, and if you're watching now, please take a second to subscribe to our channel if you're not like Timmy, and click the like button on this video. You can also find us on your favorite podcast applications like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And if you listen on one of those, we'd really appreciate it if you took a minute to leave us a 5-star rating and a short review, as it helps more people find our podcast. One last plug, if you're not already, go check out the RIFC Club Collector app. Enter the code Tide Talk, all lowercase, Tide Talk 25, all lowercase, all one word, to get an exclusive pack added to your collection today. So cozy up, crack a bear. Let's dive into this one. I'm your host, Matt, and as always, I'm joined by my good friend, Ryan. What's going on, buddy?
How we doing? Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Good to see you. We've also got Adam in here from Loudon United. Adam, how's it going, man?
Doing fine. Me and the other Adam from next in line, we're happy to defend our team here, as always, on Tide Talk.
Happy to have you back, as we did have you once last year. I really appreciate you taking some time to chat with us and preview.
I should have known to bring a beer instead of drink it before the game or before the stream.
Yeah. Sometimes I do both, and then it just gets messy. But when I crack it like this, it ends up all over the screen and keyboard.
Next time, I'll remember to bring a vodka and soda.
There you go. There you go. So Adam, before we get started, for people who may not have seen our first episode with you, tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of your fandom of Loudon United.
Well, name's Adam Andelovitz. Been living around Loudoun County for about 5-6 years now, something like that. And which is, I think, about a year before the team itself actually started playing games, home games in the place, in Segra Field. And me and my colleague Adam Davis, who's not here at the moment, we decided to start our own podcast because we were cooped up in our respective places during the whole COVID season. And we've had our ups and downs, and Loudon has gone from the B team of DC United to its own team that's still slightly but not quite affiliated with DC United, as shown by the fact that we've got Ethan Pendleton from the DC U19s playing with us. So we still have some relationship there. Having said that, we're off to another hot start this season, but then again, I've seen that before in the past couple of seasons as well, and we always end up just falling outside of the bubble due to various factors in the playoffs. So hopefully this is not, third time is not the charm in this case, but I can't promise that.
Interesting that you spun it back with another COVID reference there in the bubble. It all kind of worked back.
I wish I did script that one, but whatever.
Perfect. So as we look at Loudon, I know we saw you twice last season, but for the start right now, you guys are 2-1. Last one, a 2-0 loss to Louisville, which can happen to the best of us. But how have you guys, what were your expectations coming into the season, and what do you think of it so far?
Admittedly, the expectations were kind of mid, as the kids say, because there wasn't a lot of movement on the player side. There was only like 2 or 3 players that we heard about that they acquired like the day before the season opener. And before that, it was just announcements that they were re-signing players who were either already on the team or previously on the team a year or two before. Or in Alex Nagy's case, I think we were afraid that he got Weekend at Bernie's for a while.
What a great movie.
Yeah. The 2022 DC United draft pick who he went back to school, then signed with us in 2023. And then for the 2023 and 2024 seasons, he would just like shatter his knee in preseason, and that would be that. Thankfully, he managed to survive this year, so hoping we see some good stuff from him. But not to pull the focus just on him, or if I stick with every individual player, we're all going to be here all night. Anyway, so yeah, we've got Tim back, we've got Zach Ryan, our captain, back. We got Wes Leggett, who had a really improved season last year. They signed Abdelatif Abukora, who was in the DCU Academy system for a while. A really dynamic player, and they've made him a starter. They re-signed Velo, McCabe, Aoua, Erlinson, Learman, Tingy, Hugo Faru. And they sort of kind of re-signed Jackman, but then they immediately loaned him out to Westchester, either the New York one or the Pennsylvania one. I keep getting those two mixed up. And we've got the same coach that we've had since like 6 games into the very first season of Loudoun United's existence, Ryan Martin. And we've got partially the same technical staff, if you want to go that far. So, yeah, my expectations going in were mid, in the sense that there wasn't a lot that was shuffled from the team that had, just finished outside of the playoff bubble. There's been a few additions, but it's too early to say how much of an impact they'll make. So we'll see.
Yeah. Do you think that the kind of continuity between the manager, the technical staff, and most of the players has really helped out with how you said you usually start hot, but wondering if maybe that's been one of the key factors for Loudon over the years?
This is kind of pure educated speculation on my part.
That's what we do here.
Yeah, I know, right? So
mostly uneducated on my part, but
yeah, but what I will say is that my observations, being a fan / podcaster, is that they start out hot. They whether it's Zach Ryan or the now departed Khalil El-Medkar, or they find someone or Velo, I guess, was also a revelation last year. And they got off to a hot start, and then the other coaches in the USLC start learning how to adjust. And Coach Martin, as much as I love him, seems to be slow to readjust when that happens. So I think it's kind of the reason why Zach Ryan's had difficulty returning to his high-scoring ways like he did past couple of years. And Leggett's still looking for the ball, though he's gotten close. Abukora has got the sheer athleticism to make it work so far. He's been either scoring goals or assisting goals, but it's only a matter of time, I guess, until the league adjusts to him as well. But even in the loss last week against Louisville, he was making them draw 2-3 guys wherever he showed up in the opposing third. But to get it back to the point, yes, while there is continuity and I guess there is familiarity, and the players know that they won't just be tossed out partway through for whatever reason. At the same time, it is also kind of, there might be a little bit of complacency as it goes further into the season. But again, this is just my speculation from observations.
So it seems like they definitely have their
prediction with how many Ryans are associated with your team. It's going to
I know, right?
I guess the good thing is it seems like you guys definitely have your preseason, training regimen locked down. If you're starting strong every year, at least that's one thing that's being done, right?
Yeah, I suppose so. They even reportedly knocked out the DC United during a preseason friendly. I don't know. Granted, because like most preseason soccer games with DC or anyone, it's difficult to actually get details.
Yeah.
Sure.
But supposedly Loudon emerged victorious against, maybe it was DC's B team, or maybe they weren't playing well. I don't know.
Right.
But the point is, we won. We can lord it over them.
That's it.
There you go.
Take those victories.
Yeah.
Having
said that, yeah, they are. I will say that one positive thing that hasn't been recurring is that we've got fewer injured players on the team leading into the season. The bad news is that the players that are injured is most of our center backs. So That's been an issue. We can get into that later, though.
Awesome. A segment that we do here on Tide Talk is RIFC in 3, where we kind of sum up a performance, or we ask our listeners to sum up a performance in 3 words. If you could sum up Loudon's season so far in 3 words, what would you go with?
Let me think. 3 words. I want to believe.
There you go. There you go.
I like it.
Oh, thank you, Tyler.
You got some love in the chat there from Tyler. Tyler knows ball, so that's good stuff.
That's true.
But yes, whether it's stuff that's happening in my life or I guess Loudon's season, as you and I have both said, the hot start. I want to believe that this is
this could be the one that carries on.
That this is the one that continues on into the mid-season and not just another thing that tapers off.
Not just another flash in the pan.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I've seen this before, and not to mention that a lot of, like I said, like 2/3 of the roster that was last year that did have the similar performances is the team now, plus or minus a couple of folks. So, but as much as I want to say that I'm an analytical head here or there, that's when it comes down to it, it's up to the players on the field to live up to those numbers.
Yeah, it's very well said. I mean, as someone who loves, crunching the data, at the end of the day, I end up somehow coming out with Rhode Island FC winning every game. I don't know how that happened, but so Adam, I know we got a glimpse of Loudon's kind of stadium atmosphere last year, but can you talk a bit about what we might expect on Saturday night or Saturday afternoon, kind of, and any tips for any of the fans making the trip down?
Well, I will say that though it's been getting better, there is still, it's still, how should I put it? A bit, the attendance is still catching up. And Nate, I'll get to that in a moment. Anyways.
I'm going to pull up a couple of those chat questions as we go.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'll line them up for you.
But, the stadium atmosphere, on one hand, we still got the crazy food trucks. They've been talking about adding like a permanent food kiosk,
oh, cool.
but haven't seen it yet show up at the actual stadium. They were going to do like a season preview that they do for fans in some spots, but for undisclosed reasons, that one got scuttled. So, maybe they surprised me and they built up the beer garden a little more. Or maybe it's still just, a bunch of very nice chairs sitting on gravel. I don't know.
That's fine. Any
if the Segre field staff doesn't want me to say this, they probably should have paid me some more.
There you go.
Or any. But in all seriousness, having said all that, I do enjoy the local atmosphere of being able to jump up with the Loudon Stampede and a handful of members from Buzzard Point Social that I'm with. Stand up, hit the drums, bring the kids out. They at least, and the current owner of the team having his fingers in a couple of pies, or I suppose, or to be more specific, minor league baseball teams, so he at least knows how to appeal to the families, how to get them in for relatively cheap tickets and deals here and there. So that part hasn't changed. If you're bringing kids, if you're bringing family with you, they'll have stuff to do, like little, whether it's face painting or like, I don't know, maybe they bring the mascot Winger in. I don't know if he's still around this year. If they sent him to a farm upstate, I couldn't tell you. Maybe we should edit that part out.
We might have to clip that. That might go viral.
They still haven't told us what happened to Scooby from the first year, which was a different horse that they brought out on occasion. But
Scooby's glue. Oh man.
No. But yeah, having said that, it's a nice ticket. Maybe by scheduling it in the Saturday afternoon, they'll be able to attract more people. That's what we hope for, anyway. And
we're really excited this year. We now that we own our own stadium, we have way more 4 o'clock games this year, so we're really excited to see the difference in that, because last year was basically all 7:30 p.m. night games, and a little tougher for families and just the atmosphere itself.
Plus, the Open Cup, apparently the next match is going to be at Segra as well on a Tuesday. So, regardless of the outcome of this match, the players are going to have to be, well, I hope they got their cardio in.
Quick turnaround.
Yeah.
All right, before I head off to the next question, we'll take one from the chat right now. We've got Ewan asking, has the hiring of Oliver Gage been impactful for the club?
My answer is that it's inconclusive as far as the grading, because there's been some good players that they've taken swings on from the CAF region. There's and not all of them have been hits, to be honest. Some of it due to just bad luck and injury, and others due to just not being a good fit or having issues with teammates. There was number 10 who ended up fleeing to Phoenix, but I don't know if that was Ollie's fault or if that was somebody else on the team who basically made it so that he didn't quite enjoy his time here. As I'm going to say, he ended up going to Phoenix and joining their playoff run a couple of years ago. If you know who he is, great. If not, then I don't feel like saying it right here. And it's a shame because there's a lot of these folks, they have so much promise, but you don't know. It's not just like, a FIFA Ultimate Team where you can just slot them in, throw them on the field, and they'll immediately work as well as the AI wants them to work. It's just, they're human beings. They've got their own things that, their own egos, their own personalities, their own skill sets. For better or worse, they might merge, they might clash, or they might be a 18, 19-year-old getting their first real true test of the pros in the USLC and find that it's a little more than they could overcome. And then on the other hand, you got players like Riley Bidois and Ben Mines who have been able to take the challenge that they were given and run with it. And so all that to say, the jury is still out, but I've appreciated that he's been able to, that he's been willing to take chances on signing players from far-flung corners you don't expect. And we'll see how many more of them hit as he stays with the team.
Fair enough. Talking about maybe some of the players who have hit for you guys, could you give us 3 players for our AFC fans to really watch out for this weekend?
I've already mentioned, I already mentioned him earlier, but Abdelatif Abukora, Mr. Bougie himself, played for born in America, but also played for the Egyptian youth squad. So he could do either. There was rumors that he was trying out with an Italian squad during the offseason, but whether or not they were true, I guess it just didn't happen. Having said that, we're glad that he decided to officially sign like a pro contract with us here in Loudon. And the guy, he spent most of his time in between DCU Academy stints with coming off the bench, and he was kind of acting as a super sub, but he was just electric with the ball on the edge of the 18-yard box. And now he's getting a starting job, and he's thriving with it. Like I said, either he's been able to score his own goals, make some amazing volleys, or get assists. You cannot take your eyes off of this guy. And let me think. Second player to watch out for, probably going to have to look out for Flo Valo, our current number 10, French attacking midfielder. He's been quite a great help in being able to annoy the opposing midfields, as well as occasionally score his own goals from long range. He's just he keeps wandering around the field. You never know where he's going to end up, but he's always going to end up disrupting the other team in some way. And finally, on the back line, one of our, even though it keeps getting jumbled up due to injuries and performance, Jacob Erlandson, whether he's trying to head in the ball in set pieces or trying to stop shots before they get to Hugo, then he is doing the job and he's doing it well.
That's perfect. And I think I saw our guy Nate Ski in the chat here, and this is his favorite question. But any super subs you think could come on and change the match if you guys are either down or up?
Well, he may or may not. He may or may not be starting again, depending on form. But Riley Bidois, a guy from New Zealand, who was, scoring goals left and right with their youth team. Granted, in the OCC, there's not a lot of competition beyond New Zealand. So, like I said, last year when he joined the team, it was a question of, could he live up to the hype fighting against stronger competition than, say, the Fiji U21s, where he scored a hat trick, by the way. And so far, it seems to be he does. Whether he comes off the bench, usually when he comes off the bench, he's able to, add that attacking threat that we need with Leggett or Zach Ryan is having trouble. And to the point where he sometimes goes a little too hard, skies it over the bar, and then just goes, ah. And, to his credit, he's, he tries to redo that, but sometimes he gets, I think he lets it linger too much when he misses it by a little bit. And, that's something that he's got to work on, but I'm sure that, he's working on it with, I don't know if they have a team psychologist, but I'm sure.
Got to have that short memory.
Yeah. And another guy who I might have mentioned him earlier, but joined the team recently is Ben Mines, a former New York Red Bulls Academy product from Connecticut, who joined us or at least was announced that joined us a day before. He seems to be an attacking midfielder. Admittedly, I don't know much about him beyond what his profile sheet says. Yeah, being very strong defensively last year, but not potent offensively. But this year, it's been kind of flipped around, at least so far from what I've seen. But yeah, as I was saying, Ben Mines, he's been, getting in there with attacks. Either he's been getting assists, and he had a couple of balls bounce off the woodwork. I'm sure he'll get his goal soon enough. But there's kind of a joke in the second game. I think it was against. I'm trying to remember. I think it was not Westchester. It was North Carolina, right? I'm an idiot. Anyways, but yeah, against North Carolina, where the broadcast listed him as F last name, his first name, last name. That became a joke, especially when he ended up assisting one goal that became the game-winning goal and almost scoring a brace on his own.
We had two Maxi Rodriguez's in the lineup last weekend, so we understand the broadcast woes of the USL Championship.
Yeah, we also had first name, last name sub in for first name, last name.
That's true.
Yeah, I guess you get the commentary you pay for. But that's a whole nother discussion.
Oh yeah, that's a separate episode in its own right.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right. So looking at kind of keys of the game, if Loudon were to win this one, what would go right? What would happen? And vice versa, if Loudon were to lose, what went wrong?
If Loudon does well, it's because, as I probably hinted, Abukora and Velo just making a mess of the midfield, and they can't keep up, or Leggett rediscovering his second gear and making frustrating the defense before they can catch him, getting a few runs in. If it's on the other hand, if Loudon's center backs are still injured and they're forced to play Drew Skundrich, who's a decent midfielder, but the past few games he's been forced to play center back because it's just Erlandson, Learman, and that's it right now at that position. And Learman, he's all right, but every game he has one or two really big mistakes. And last game against Louisville, one mistake led to a PK, which, though Hugo saved it, it shows that it could have been worse than just a 2-0 loss. So I'm hoping that Learman can get his act together, because until Cole Turner and the other defenders on our team and get healthy and get fit, that's, it's what we've got. But if Rhode Island can find a way to get past our midfield and get into and streak down the center backs, then they might have a chance.
All right. Well, we're about to get the score predictions, folks. So if you want to get those in the chat, we can start reading those off. But Adam, before we do get to that, I can't bring up the questions on the screen, but Nate just added this question. I think he's added it twice now. But any thoughts on the recent Pro-Rel announcement?
I guess if I had to sum it up in one phrase, cautiously optimistic.
Hello, Ed. Sorry about that technical difficulty there. Happened once before. Laptop totally shut down, died. I know you're probably still talking, but it made a weird funky noise.
So I just asked Adam about his thoughts on Pro-Rel, and he said cautiously optimistic, which I like.
Okay.
I mean, it's going to be difficult, especially when you consider, the questions of course, when it comes down to money flying around, considering that your average USLC player earns roughly $45K a season before you get into, benefits and perks and all that, compared to, the MLS, where your average player is earning roughly $300K. I don't know if that number includes like Messi and the high-priced DPs, but are the owners of USL teams, like say, if Loudon or Rhode Island even were able to jump up into the soon-to-be determined USL Premier Division I league, would they be willing and able to spend more to attract D1 talent? Would that be something they could do? Would they have to fight with the MLS for attention with the media deals, or would there be some weird kind of merger that happens a few years down the road? It's going to be difficult to say until we actually see it in action in a couple of years, I think. Having said that, they couldn't just sit around, because if they just stayed the way they were, sitting on the second and third divisions USL, then they would just rot away in 5 years, while MLS and tightened its stranglehold on the USSF and then forced the issue that way. So one way or the other, USL had to take a big swing. I don't know if it'll succeed, but I hope they do succeed, is the way I conclude with that thought.
Yeah, it's really well said.
Yeah. Having said that, do I go first, or do you go first in the score predictions?
Ooh. If you're ready and you want to roll, you can go for it.
Anyway, so judging by y'all seem to be, kind of getting into your form for the season yourselves, where I've seen one loss and one draw. Maybe we get surprised, our team, or maybe we get some more reinforcements, or maybe we see Ethan Pendleton play more than garbage time minutes. Or maybe Surafel Dagnachu stops being a ghost and pops up on the field. Anything can happen. But having said that, my gut tells me a 3-1 victory for the home team, Loudon, in their opener.
I like it.
All right. We've got, I don't like that. Speak for yourself. We've got Kevin in the chat with a 2-2 draw. Sarah's got a 2-1. We've also got a 2-1 baby from Tyler. Let's see.
I don't know. Wait, there's a baby team? When did that happen?
Our guy Nate Skis also got 2-1. We've got a 2-2 from Kevin. I think I already pulled that one up. And a 2-1 from Matt Hands. So Ryan, we'll start with you. What do you got for your score prediction?
So I was originally going to say 2-1, but you know what? After the 2 games last season, we are owed some goals in this matchup. I'm going to go 3-2. I am going to go for Rhode Island FC. So just looking at Loudon, I'm definitely more impressed with them so far. Obviously, very small sample size. They've been doing pretty well so far. But one thing that was interesting, they're currently third in possession one in the final third. So pretty strong press there. However, Rhode Island FC actually has completed the second most long balls per game. So hopefully we can just kind of go over the press, go up to JJ, and really kind of put some pressure on that defense that's pretty depleted right now. Really sounds like injury is going to be a big factor in this game. Obviously, Rhode Island also dealing with potentially Clay, who we did see running today, so maybe he's good, but getting some guys back as well. The other thing too is while Loudon's been stingy so far, half of their goals have come from goals conceded have come from headers in the box, which we've actually completed the most crosses per match so far. So again, hoping this is a big JJ Williams game. Hopefully Sanchez can get those crosses in there. However, I did say they're going to score 2, and I'm very, very nervous about Abukora on that left wing. I struggle to think about how we deal with that with who we played on that right side last game between Noah and Frank. Hopefully we can get like a Clay Haravav midfield who can really use their athleticism to help out on the wings there. Hopefully Haravav has the minutes in his legs to start now. But yeah, I think we're owed some goals in this matchup. I'm going 3-2. I hope it's fun with a Rhode Island victory on top.
So I will say before I give mine that talking with Zach before I hopped on, Zach's my son Adam, and
Wait, that's not fair. You consulted an actual expert.
I know. The scary part was like, so the club collector thing we do is almost like a fantasy RIFC card game, Adam, and Zach wins it or is up there near the top every week. He's a first grader to put it in full context. Really knows what he's talking about, and I said, what do you think the score is going to be? And he said 0-0. And I would be willing to bet if you were to ask him if he knew both games were 0-0 last year, it probably was a no. This was probably just off the top of the head. But the fact that he came up with 0-0, knowing we played 2 0-0 draws is extremely interesting. I do think, to Ryan's point, I think there are goals in this one. I've got a 2-2 as well. I think both teams score 2. I think it's probably like Charleston and you guys score 2 headers on us just because that's what we give up and concede. But I got 2-2. I see it as another draw. Not happy about it. I do hope, like Ryan said, and like Tyler brings up in the chat, the return of the adult midfield. Ryan's term.
It's not the adult midfield. It's not the adult midfield.
I do hope that returns.
Well, better than Team Baby getting 2-1.
It's true.
That's true too. But
in this 11, it does not have Marky Barra, I will say.
Okay, all right.
It's Maxi's the third.
Yeah, that's fair. I've got 2-2, so I don't know how I feel about that, but that's what I'm going with. I was kind of going back and forth between a couple different ones. But
I mean, the problem is we now know it's going to be 0-0, as Zach predicted. So it's what we should expect from this match going forward, I guess.
You or Timmy can go back and clip that section right after when we end up in a, But thank you for bearing with me and my technical difficulties there. Sorry, I had to cut you off midstream. The computer made a noise I've never heard before and then said, we're having issues, we're rebooting. So I'm like, I know when I log back in, it kicks everyone off the stream. So sorry I had to cut you off like that. And but we got it back on. So thanks for everyone for bearing with us. If you're on the podcast audio version of this, you'll be like, oh crap, what the hell happened? But Matt's computer.
I'll have to send it to our crack editing team to cut that out.
No big deal. All right, Adam, before we let you go, any final thoughts you want to share with us?
Well, it's a long season and a long year for reasons both on and off the pitch, so to speak. But what else can I say? That we got to stick together, find faith in your respective local communities, solidarity, and as always, stay loud and united.
One of the coolest taglines in the U.S. soccer. I do like that.
Thank you.
How about you, Ryan?
For what? For breaking script. I don't know. I didn't have anything written down.
Anything else you want to share before we sign off?
No, I think everyone has heard so far, but couple things to plug. Actually, the Defiance is doing a test bike ride of the Defiance Bike to the Matches this Saturday, as long as it doesn't rain. So you can check out PVD Bike Jam. They're the ones who are organizing it. We'll start in downtown Providence and bike up to the Guild for the test ride. It starts at, I think it's at 1, so hopefully we can get to the Guild before the match there. But either way, hopefully we see other people at the Guild with the Defiance at 4 o'clock. So yeah, really excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Maybe I can ride on your pegs, Ryan. We can really get through.
Yeah, there we go.
And I guess I should also say that if you want to talk with me about Loudon stuff, shoot a message to me at the Next in Line pod, or send it via the RFK Refugees podcast network. You can find them. They focus more on DC United, but they've recently added things for the Washington Spirit, women's soccer. Not sure if we're going to have DC Power, the USL Super League women's team yet. Might in the future, but it depends on if we have the time and energy for it. But yeah, RFK Refugees, join the Discord. I'll probably be in there. You'll be easy to find me if for some reason you want to talk about DC area soccer, or just do some trash talking on game day.
There you go.
There you go. The RIFC community is heavy in Discord, so you might have people tick you up on that one for sure.
Maybe. We'll see.
But Adam, thanks again for taking some time to join us and previewing this one. We appreciate it. We know our listeners do as well.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, hopefully we're at least into a entertaining game on Saturday. That's all we can.
Yeah, I appreciate the compliments both from you and from members of the chat, which I've noticed. So,
awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
Looking forward to it.
You broke rule number 1 of don't read the chat. It's a strange area in there. I would like to warn our guests. It's
I stare at the fourth wall, yet I have not to acknowledge its existence.
You're a brave man. It's all.
So much is what I get for being a dramaturg. Oh, woe is me.
There are some things you can't unsee, and our chat is definitely one of them.
I know.
But thanks again for joining us. Thanks for taking the time out. If you're still with us, please hit that thumbs up button to give the video a like before you get off of here. But that'll wrap things up for this one. We'll see you next time. Just a reminder, Tide Talk is more than just a podcast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all across social media. Interact with all of our posts, and keep all that good stuff coming. But thanks again for joining, Adam. For Ryan, I've been your host, Matt. We'll see you next time. And as always, up the tide.
Up the tide.
Peace.